There's an old piano and they play it hot behind the green door. Don't know what they're doing, but
welcome back to the Morning Blend. When he was a very young boy, Tom Wilmeth became obsessed with the 1956 hit, The Green Door. He would listen to the song over and over again on this small record player. That sparked a love for music that lasted his entire life. And Tom knew that listening to music was not going to be enough. He needed to write about it, too.
That's true. He started in high school and for 45-plus years reviewed concerts, albums, and interviewed several musicians. He chronicled his career in this book, Soundbites, A Lifetime of Listening. We're thrilled to welcome Tom to the Yellow Couch. Thanks for being here.
Great to be here. Thanks very much.
Great to meet you.
Thank you.
I think the fact that you fell in love with music on such a deep level that not only did you love listening, but you had to write about it. You know, how did that transfer into penning it?
It just, of course, the radio was the first thing I would hear at my parents' kitchen table, and then The Green Door by Jim Lowe I would just play that over and over again. And I came along at a very fortunate time. I was born in 1955, so when I was 9, the Beatles hit.
Yeah.
And I just couldn't not write about it. I started to write some things down, and I grew up in Des Moines, Iowa, and there were a lot of shows coming through there at the old KRNT Theater. And I was fortunate enough to be able to go to a lot of those shows, and I'd find myself going home that night making notes, and they were always looking for writers at the high school paper, and it just turned into something I really enjoyed doing.
Because you're actually a professor of English at Concordia, right? So writing is a big part of your life.
It sure is. Reading and writing other students and writing my own. But yes, over at Concordia, I've been there 26 years, and great school. And but I'm in English, and I love English. I love Shakespeare. But my true passion is writing about music, listening to music.
Well, in this book, you've got 45 years of reviews that you've been doing, and you've got 4 genres that you cover in the book. It's pop rock, jazz, country, and then specialty.
Right.
What does specialty cover for you?
Well, I usually explain that as specialty is kind of an excuse to write a lot about Bob Dylan.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of Beatles in there, some Bruce Springsteen, so some of the artists that I'm fairly passionate about and that have written quite a few things about, Bob Dylan especially, I'd say, and the Beatles.
Yeah.
So.
I have one favorite. I'm wondering if you have interest in him too, is Johnny Cash.
Johnny Cash, he's the man. Johnny Cash was so interesting because he fell into such kind of a low tide for a while. And Columbia Records dropped him, and then all of a sudden he dies and everybody loves him again. But Rick Rubin brought him back in a big, big way. But Cash was great, top flight.
Your voice is so great. Will you just say down, down, down in a ring of fire?
Down, down, down in a burning ring of fire.
I knew you were going to do it!
I love it! That was a good call. Way to go.
So perfect. I know you've been asked to do that before.
Appreciate that.
Absolutely.
That was good.
Yeah.
I like that.
What's your love of defending 8-tracks? How can anyone defend them anymore?
I put them all away, and I put them in my attic, and then a good friend of mine, Pete Onsgaard, started showing me 8-tracks that people would bring to him because he's a car dealer. And I thought, well, I've got 8 tracks. I'm going to get mine out. And got them out, and most of them worked, and I got them set up, and my tolerant wife, again, I have an 8-track player in the living room.
You do?
And so it's kind of it's quirky, and I don't listen to them a lot, but it's a long gone format it should have never caught on.
Yeah.
It should really have never existed. But the fact that it did.
Is that an 8-track? I've never seen an 8-track. I don't know what one looks like.
2 8-tracks up there, the Elvis Presley, and then the Beatles at the Hollywood Bowl on 8-track. That I brought because that has finally come back into print because of Ron Howard's movie 8 Days a Week. But the Beatles at the Hollywood Bowl on 8-track, and they sound, when they're working right, and that's a big proviso, but when they're working right, they sound great.
Not like the Chipmunks? Do they ever sound?
They break. There are some that I don't want to play because they break easily. Yeah. Well, the youngest ones are 40 years old.
I was going to say, they got to be worth some money, too.
Yeah. And
you got to find the right person.
Okay.
But
and
they're quirky. I'm sorry.
No problem. Speaking of Elvis, what are your thoughts on what makes him so fascinating?
You know, Elvis, poor guy, he was really, what John Lennon said, before Elvis Presley there was nothing, and I think that's right. But he, after the Army, he got trapped into the movies, and he wasn't able to get good songs. But to answer your question, he just really had it, whatever it is. I mean, he had it in a big, big way.
It's like the soul, right? That soulful sound.
Just a combination.
That look. And
Sam Phillips said if I could find a white man that had the soul of a black man, I'd be a millionaire.
Yeah.
And he found it in Elvis Presley.
He was a gem, yeah.
Yeah.
Talk a little bit about some of the interviews that you've had and casual interactions. Do you have favorites? Do you have things that surprised you?
I guess I'm surprised a little bit that I was able to get to Tom Waits many times because I was really a big fan from the beginning with Tom Waits, and I would go to Minneapolis to see his shows, and I would talk to him backstage, and while a lot of these people are impossible to get to now, he was always very gracious. Interactions, sometimes in the book it sounds like I'm a heckler because I kind of asked somebody something for, like Joan Baez, I shouted something at her and she responded. I'm not really a heckler, but just kind of casual interactions, either occasionally backstage and something like that. Tom Waits, quite a few jazz people that I've talked, Oscar Peterson, Eddie Harris, a lot of different people. And I guess that's what I'd say, that I'm happy with the book, because I do have, there's a lot of jazz in there, there's a lot of pop and rock in there, there's quite a bit of country, Johnny Cash I talk about.
It's awesome.
I just like a lot, I like a wide variety of music.
Yeah. He's the kind of guy that if you're at a cocktail party, you hope you end up in a
stay by him all
conversation
night.
with him, and not the person who you're making small talk with, and you're like, I want to get away. It's so fascinating to talk to you.
Great to have you.
Thank you so much. And you have a book signing tonight. People can meet you.
Right, at 6, it starts at 6 o'clock at the Grafton Library on 11th Avenue in Grafton, and come on by 6 to 7:30 at the library.
People can get a copy of your book, and you also do a reading, right?
I'm going to be doing a short presentation.
And you'll sing too, like Dick just had you do.
I will take requests.
I love it. And you can find out more by going to muleshoepress.com.
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 Thanks, Tom.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Great to meet you.
Thanks.